Look at this. The soap is displaced again.
Oscar has been suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder for the last 6 years. OCD is an anxiety disorder that is based on obsessions and compulsions. An obsession is a recurrent or persistent thought or impulse that causes marked anxiety and distress to the suffering individual. There are a variety of obsessions that different people may experience. The most common obsession includes fear of contamination by dirty objects, constant checking to make sure objects are in a specific order, mental counting or repeating of words silently, and abiding by their own personal rules of doing daily activities. These obsessions are aimed at preventing or reducing distress or preventing some dreaded event or situation. To alleviate these anxieties, the person engages in some compulsion to right whatever distress they are feeling. A compulsion could be straightening one's clothes and neatly folding them, excessive washing of the hands, and checking of some object in the room over and over. With Oscar, everything must be neat and in order in his dorm. Whenever he finds something out of place, he becomes anxious and must straighten his surroundings, or he will not be able to stop thinking about the out-of-place object the entire day. When did you first realize you had a problem?
When I was about 14 years old, I had this thing with the table. I had to make sure that all the books on the table were always perfectly arranged. I couldn't sit down. I also needed to have a certain spot at the dinner table. I lost complete appetite when if I didn't sit at the spot that I wanted to sit at. I also had this thing with the shoes. My mom used to always clean the closet up before we went to sleep, and I liked my shoes in a certain place, and I was always worried that she was going to misplace them. She was going to put them elsewhere. I remember I couldn't go to sleep because I was so anxious that my shoes weren't going to be in the same place they were when I wake up the next morning. I remember that it was really stressful, and I would wait until everyone went to bed, and then I'd get up and make sure that the shoes were where I liked them to be.
What are you doing now?
My shoelace loops have to be even. They have to be the same.
What would happen if you didn't make your shoelaces equal?
That's all I think about. I must make them equal. I can't concentrate.
Told you I have an 8 o'clock class. It's already 10 up.
Yeah, but how can I can't leave until I do everything that I always do. How can I leave when the bed's messed up?
Now, do you go through the same ritual every day?
Pretty much. I usually wake up half an hour early because I know something will be there to bother me. Like my roommate will move something, or maybe there were guests over the night before and they used the bathroom and I just completely have to clean it. So I usually give myself an extra half an hour before I leave just so I can take care of that, because otherwise I can't think in class.
How did it affect your social life?
Well, I really didn't have any problems meeting people, but it got harder as they got closer to me. When I found out about all these weird things that I had, I guess it scared them off a little, and I never really had many close friends. I also couldn't invite people over because I was always afraid that they'll misplace stuff in my room, and then I would just be really anxious. I wouldn't want anything moved, so I would have to refuse and wouldn't let them to come into my room.
Well, all your rituals must have been pretty time-consuming. How did you make it through the day and appear normal to everyone else?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, I have to give myself extra time for every single task that I take on during the day. But I've learned that I needed to do that to give myself that extra time, because if I didn't act upon my obsessions, if I didn't act them out, I'd just be anxious all day, and that's all that I would think about. My thoughts would be completely occupied with my obsessions.
What's it like living with Oscar?
It's real pain, man. I mean, if I come in one time and I hit a shoe with my foot or something, it's out of place, I never hear the end of it. Can't even have anybody come over because it's just like crazy. They think he's crazy the way he is, and sometimes I can't even get in the bathroom for he'll be in there for like an hour. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he's always just, everything has to be in perfect order. If something's messed up, I don't hear the end of it.
Eventually your mom recognized you had a problem. She approached you. What happened at this point?
Yeah, she figured out that something was really wrong with me. This was taking up way too much of my time, and it was really interfering with things I was doing. So she knew the psychiatrist, and she just took me to him to have a talk about this.
How successful do you think your therapy was?
Well, I think it was very helpful to me. It helped me a lot. He's treated a couple of other OCD patients, and he recommended behavioral therapy. He showed me how to get in touch with other people who suffered from the same thing. There was support groups that he recommended. Also, he prescribed medication for me, which has helped me be more in control of all my obsessions and cravings. And I've learned how to manage it. He described to me the disease and made me understand that I'm really not crazy. It's a chemical imbalance in my brain. So, and hopefully with continuous treatment, I will be able to regain complete control of my life.
The most common treatment for OCD is cognitive behavioral therapy that includes group sessions, positive and negative reinforcement, and counseling. The patient is told to try abstaining from his or her compulsions and to keep a clear mind when obsessive thoughts are present. Pharmacological techniques are used in more serious cases. The selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor Prozac is prescribed to help the patient ease their anxiety about their obsessions and compulsions. Most of the time, however, good counseling over a period of time has been successful. Currently, there is more understanding of the disease, and OCD sufferers are realizing they are not alone and therefore receive the proper therapy.
Got let down and I don't know where we went wrong. I thought things were fine, but I guess that's how life goes. And I just can't take that